Okay, everybody, it's still the 19th of July 2018 here. Let's start looking at some murders that happened in the last 4 days. The insane circus in South Africa is just going on and on. Never ending. 2 poachers were killed and a policeman wounded in Loskop Nature Reserve. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Mpumalanga, pretty green area in South Africa. It's here. During an intelligence driven operation the past Saturday, a member of the South African Police Service Special Task Unit was wounded and 2 suspects killed at the Loskop Nature Reserve, north of Middelburg in the Mpumalanga province. The team, comprising of members of the South African Police Task Force and a local shot theft unit, acting on intelligence, tracked down 2 suspect poachers when they came under fire shortly after 9. So the poachers and the police had a shootout and the 2 poachers were killed. You have it. Gang investigation unit investigated double murder in Helenvale. Where's Helenvale? I have no clue. The Provincial Gang Investigation Unit is on the hunt for suspects after the fatal shooting of 2 males in Henningvale last night. According to police information, 8 o'clock at night, Cleven Boyson and Chester Bartman, probably the coloured boys in the Cape, were standing in front of a house in Pienaar Street when they were shot at by unknown suspects. Both victims died on the scene. The motive for the killings is unknown at this stage, however police believe the incident is gang related. Gang executions. Brutal savage murder scene, victim found in river in Oakford, KwaZulu-Natal. Let's see here. The bloodied body of an unidentified male has been recovered in Oakford, so someone got beaten to death. Reactive unit in South Africa received a call from a resident in the area reporting that a body could be seen floating in the river leading to a dam. Reaction officers were dispatched to the vicinity. Upon arrival, officers found the South African police is attending. The victim's hands and legs were bound with a green and white ski rope and was lying face down in the water. A pair of blue and white sandals were found next to a pool of blood on the riverbank. Shame. The victim suffered open wounds to his face and head. The man has not been identified. Really? That is rough. So they tied his hands and his feet and then they beat him to death. That is rough. South Africa for you. You don't know anything else about this situation, you just know someone's dead. That's the thing that's sad about murders in South Africa, you just hear about it happening. In the end, most of the criminals just get away with murder, rape, hijackings, the whole rigmarole. Man 80 found brutally murdered in Verulam. Let's see here. 80-year-old man to believed to have been murdered at his home in Garden Street. Shame. A 80-year-old. Let that sink into all the open-minded liberals' thick skulls as well. 80-year-olds getting murdered. The defenseless. At approximately 6 o'clock, members of the reaction unit called out to a residence after a man was found in his room with his eyes gouged out and part of his tongue ripped off. So first they ripped his eyes out and then they cut his tongue off and they murdered him. That is the thing to remember. It's an 80-year-old man. An 80-year-old man, they came in, they ripped his eyes out and then they ripped out a large part of his tongue, probably as he was trying to reason with these people, begging for his life. Upon arrival, the deceased's employer informed the reaction officer that the elderly man was employed by him for the last 17 years. He had last seen him alive at around midday when he had given him something to eat. Shame. The elderly couple who claimed to be the deceased relatives arrived at the home to visit him shortly after his employer had left his room. A few hours later, they proceeded to the main building and informed his employer that the relative was extremely ill. Really? When his employer went to investigate, he found the gardener deceased on his bed. The food that he had given him was not eaten. The couple were on the scene and are being interviewed by the police. They murdered him. Yo. They probably stole his money or something like that. Really. Shame. 80-year-old black man. They ripped his eyes out and ripped half of his tongue out. Can you believe it? Assistance needed after security guard found dead in Sandy Bay. Shame. SAP provincial detectives seek assistance by the public for information on the cause of death of this man. He is originally from Kalmoose in the Northern Cape. When he came to Cape Town, he was employed as a security official. He stayed in Parow in the Cape. From July 25, he was employed at the Grand West Casino. He resigned. I give you his life story. Fine. He was thereafter again seen in Cape Town, employed as a security officer. In 2015, his body was found in Sandy Bay near Hout Bay. In 2015, you're talking 3 years later. I mean, in the meantime, there's been 20,000, 60, 70,000 murders in South Africa. 300,000 rapes. Another 60,000 attempted murders. 700,000 or 800,000 abortions. Yeah. Okay. So they're trying to figure out what happened to this man. They're never going to find out. 6 bodies identified at a copper mine. I think that's an accident. That's not murder. Let's see here. Police are investigating the death of 6 people who were trapped underground. You have it. A shooting in Olivedale. Driver fatally wounded. Passengers injured. Wow, look at all those gunshots. Shot and shot and shot. Police had launched a manhunt for 2 suspects following the shooting in Olivedale. It is alleged that a 46-year-old was driving a silver BMW with 2 other passengers when 2 suspects driving a white Mercedes-Benz started shooting at the car. The driver was fatally wounded and 2 other passengers were injured and taken to hospital. The motive for the killing is unknown. Police are investigating a case of attempted murder and murder. That's it. They're not going to find the people that did it. Well done. Man found shot dead in his vehicle in Coniston, KwaZulu-Natal. It's here. Members of reaction unit were called out near the international airport in Durban by police officers after he noticed an Indian male slumped in a grate area at the Hilux Bakkie parked alongside the road. Upon noticing that the driver was bleeding, the Metro Police requested medical assistance to the man, and found that he had sustained a single gunshot wound to the head and declared him deceased. Shame. They shot him in the head and left. Execution style. Recreational murder in South Africa, man. We like it. Every day. Every day. Doesn't matter what your color is. They'll just kill you. Reaction officers interviewed several truckers who operate at the mining site in the same road, and they had informed police that they had seen the bakkie parked on the roadside at approximately 1:15. They noticed the deceased slumped in the driver's seat and they assumed that he was asleep. Further information had been received and cannot be made available to the public. The reaction officers tracked the registration of the vehicle, trying to identify the man. They identified the victim as a 24-year-old Ashil Premchin. His younger brother informed reaction officers that the victim had left home around 12 o'clock and had 10,000 rands in cash, basically about $900, to purchase a bull bar for his bakkie, for his truck. So basically someone killed him for the money, probably. According to the brother, their father was killed in a hit and run a few months earlier. Shame. The siblings lived alone and worked at the family business. Shame. That is heart-wrenching. Shame. Poor family. 4 violent murderers get hefty sentences in Pietermaritzburg. Good 6 years for 3 counts of robbery and 5 years for kidnapping. 36-year-old sentenced for 3 life terms for killing 2 victims and raping a woman. Okay, another life sentence for murder and another 35 for 2 counts of robbery. Life imprisonment for murder and 15 years for robbery. 22-year-old gets 25 years imprisonment for 2 murders. Further 20 years for 2 counts of robbery. Yeah man. It's the same story over and over. So here is another guy. In January 2015, 4 accused were terrorizing a community in a black area. The first incident was at the truck shop, where they shot and killed the shop owner. They further took cash and cell phones before they fled the scene. The next day, they approached a black man who was sitting in his vehicle with his girlfriend. They killed him. They shot him dead, took his cell phone, and then they drove the vehicle with the women inside and raped the women. The accused continues with their spree, where they robbed another tuck shop in the area of cell phones and cash. Yo, there you have it. That's what's happening in South Africa on a daily basis. That's what's happening. Be warned. Be warned. Don't listen to these open-minded liberals that act like it's not going like this in South Africa. South Africa is a messed up place. You get in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's tickets. You don't have a chance. That's it. Okay. That's the murders for the last 4 days. Couple that's in the news. The rest you won't even hear about.